Keyboards. Most of us type on them or use them for something in our day-to-day lives, whether it be at a computer, on a laptop, or while gaming. Keyboards are just a piece of equipment to aid us to type or work or input functions into your computer. But from the IBM Model Ms of the 80s to the ear-piercing light show that is a Razer or Corsair keyboard, to rectangular chunks of CNC'd metal that people will pay thousands of dollars for, mechanical keyboards have built a cult following over the years since their original conception. But why? What is so special about these rectangles that we use to type on, for work, or to play video games? How have people's ideas of these mundane pieces of equipment evolved over the years? The first mechanical keyboards came with computers during the 70s and 80s, when computers were first being developed and subsequently were expensive pieces of equipment that not everyone had access to. Because they were a high-end piece of technology, they were able to spend more money on making a high-quality keyboard to use with it. Some of the earliest mechanical keyboards used mechanical switches for the keys from the company Alps, which is the company that would go on to make all the Apple computer keyboards. From there, this is where buckling spring keyboards were born, and more importantly, the IBM Model M. If you know anything at all about keyboards, the name IBM Model M is a household name. Using buckling spring switches, the IBM Model M is where a lot of the excitement around mechanical keyboards started, with its clicky sound and tactile feel. If you take a look at most early mechanical keyboards, you can tell that they were trying to still figure out what layout of keys made sense. But looking at the IBM Model M, you can probably see a layout that looks more familiar to you. The layout of the IBM Model M was where most keyboards of today took inspiration from, and that, partnered with the buckling spring switches, combines it into why it's such a legendary keyboard. By the 90s, computers, and subsequently keyboards, were starting to become more widely manufactured, and so this meant they were unable to justify spending as much money on the keyboards that came with them. This is where rubber dome keyboards came into mass production, and became the standard for most computers. They were cheap, and they did the job, so it was good enough for mass production. By 1999, IBM ceased production of the keyboards because it didn't make sense anymore in a mass production focused market. Rubber dome keyboards dominated the market up until the mid-2000s, and the only mechanical switch company that was able to survive was a company known as Cherry MX. By the late 2000s, mechanical keyboards started to gain popularity again, and this is where the Cherry MX mechanical keyboards of the modern age started. Cherry had been around at the same time as Alps and IBM, but were the only ones who continued production through the rubber dome 90s and 2000s era. So by the 2010s, we started seeing the mechanical keyboards that I'm sure most of you are familiar with, such as Razer and Corsair. These were very much tailored towards gamers, but as more and more people started discovering mechanical keyboards through these companies, the enthusiasm for them started to gain more traction again. This is where we started getting mechanical keyboards for productivity again, and where the age of custom mechanical keyboards started. The history of custom mechanical keyboards is extensive enough to dedicate a whole video to it, so I'll spare you for now. And, well, mechanical keyboards have kind of come full circle. From starting off as high-end peripherals made for computers, to becoming cheap and mass-produced, to now having a resurgence of enthusiasm from mechanical switches that has people paying whatever premium it may cost to own it.